I want to make sure that we are all on the same page and understanding the reality of what we're talking about when we talk about the word pornography. I took a sample from Pornhub and X videos, the world's most popular porn sites, yesterday and today, of videos that are on their homepage. These are videos that children would easily access. Stepsister gets cum blasted in the face. Schoolgirl in white socks masturbates in front of teddy bear. Blonde slutty anal stretching and rough gaping anal pounding. Daddy rough face fuck and spanking schoolgirl. Young man is fascinated by tender body of teen who licks his butt. A tiny teen fuck toy gets hard rough anal from stepbrother. He destroys her in a sex fight and humiliates her. Mom went to work and dad woke me up and recorded me. He said it was to masturbate when I went to class. Spy camera on sister-in-law. Finally, my parents are not home and I tied up my sister and did everything I wanted. This is the popular and most accessible pornography on the world's most popular porn sites today. These mega multinational porn corporations are making hundreds of millions of dollars per year via advertising and user data collection because of unlimited, unrestricted access that drives enormous amounts of traffic to their sites. In 2020, Pornhub boasted 47 million visits per year, 130 million per day. That traffic also consists of underage child users. But these corporations clearly care about profits over people, especially the most vulnerable children. Pornhub's senior community manager was caught saying the following about age verification for children. She said, Pornhub stands to lose 50% of traffic. It costs us money to verify, and overall, it's a disaster. She also said, MindGeek loses money. Any age verification devastates traffic. Clearly, these profit-driven corporations cannot be trusted to self-regulate, and it is the job of government to protect the most vulnerable, especially children, from abuse. And children accessing hardcore pornography is abuse. Not only is the content that children are accessing on mainstream porn sites like Pornhub often violent representations of assault, incest, rape, and other sex crimes, but because these sites do not verify the age or the consent of those in the videos, often the videos on these sites are real sex crime scenes of actual drugged, unconscious sexual assaults, child rape, sex trafficking, and other forms of criminal, non-consensual, image-based sexual abuse. A recent study published by the British Journal of Criminology found that 1 in 8 videos on the homepages of the most visited and popular porn sites in the world, Pornhub, Xvideos, and Xhamster, contain depictions of real sexual crime. Many people argue this is the responsibility of parents to protect their children from these sites. This is a calloused and naive view. We all know there are many children in Canada and around the world that have neglectful parents. Parents who are working too hard to put food on the table to pay attention. And many children have no parents at all. What about those children? Who is going to protect them from Pornhub? And even children with attentive parents, they're not under the supervision and the watchful eye of those parents 24/7. It is unfair to parents and unjust to children to place the burden of protection solely on those parents. I am often contacted by distraught mothers and fathers whose young children accidentally or intentionally out of curiosity access mainstream porn sites. One mother recently lamented to me, "My children have been exposed to porn from Pornhub as early as 10 years old. The damage has affected my children and my home, and all my children are now in therapy. One of my sons ended up molesting a child after being exposed to porn on Pornhub and acting out what he saw." A distraught father said, "My 12-year-old son accidentally came across Pornhub while searching for PS4 on Google. He was devastated after seeing Pornhub because he thought the women were being raped. My son hasn't been the same since. I would like to sue Pornhub for what the company did to my child. However, we don't need to rely on anecdotal evidence because we have over 40 years of peer-reviewed research that makes it clear that child access to pornography harms children. And I will share this compiled list of research on this issue with the committee. Lastly, I will end with this. Studies have shown that child exposure to pornography is most often unwanted. The Kaiser Family Foundation has reported that well over 2/3 of 15 to 17-year-old adolescents have seen pornography when they did not want to or intend to access it, with nearly half reporting to being very or somewhat upset by it. Unwanted sexual experiences are what we call sexual assault. You see, when a child witnesses porn through unwanted exposure or even by curiously stumbling upon it, unaware of what it would contain, it can become a serious and traumatic event in the life of that child. Viewing pornography is a sexual experience. We know why thanks to advances in neuroscience. Researchers now understand the function of what are called mirror neurons in the brain and the role they play in how the psyche and the body react to viewing things with our eyes. Mirror neurons are a type of brain cell that react in the same way when an action is actually performed and when that same action is witnessed being performed by somebody else. These mirror cells were first discovered in the 90s by a team of Italian scientists who identified this phenomenon in the brains of monkeys. When the monkeys reached for a peanut, the exact same individual neurons in the brain of the monkeys fired as when they simply watched another monkey grab a peanut. The neuroscientists discovered the existence of these mirror neurons said, if watching an action and performing that action can activate the same parts of the brain in monkeys down to a single neuron, then it makes sense that watching an action and performing an action could also elicit the same feelings in people. Indeed, it does. And this phenomenon can be applied to the case of children viewing pornography.
Can you please wind up now? Please?
Yes, just probably 30 seconds more. Neuroscientist Donald Hilton has said that viewing other humans experience sexuality is sexuality to the viewer. An 11-year-old boy or girl therefore experiences the unwanted, often violent criminal sexual visuals in pornography as a form of sexual trauma. In 1970, Thomas Emerson, a legal theorist who was a major architect of civil liberties laws, said that imposing what he called erotic material on individuals against their will is a form of action that has all the characteristics of physical assault. The UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, Article 19 says, state parties shall take appropriate legislative measures to protect children from all forms of physical or mental violence, injury, or abuse, including sexual abuse. I urge this committee to see the importance of Bill S-203 and the urgency for which it needs to be passed. Thank you.